It's like this. At the moment we are only cherishing ourselves. Remember I always said that sometimes, we just think that, we're the only people, particularly when we're selfish. We think we're the only one. That's real. We're the only human being. Others are peoples, Tom, Dick and Harry. And we just can sometimes consider other people as just numbers and people, and we think we're the only one who have that feeling. And so therefore we're not sensitive to other people. We don't think that others are the same as us. We just think, sometimes we are not, very insensitive. And also remember I said, in the teachings I've given in relation to the, working with dying people. Like often, I remember when I first started working or helping with dying people or people to work with the dying, is that you see, a number of people came to me, students came to me. They say that my father or mother dying, but I do love them. But there's so much history of suffering that really it blocks me. I don't know how to love. How can I help? Then I tell them, you see, instead of seeing them as your father or mother with all the histories, just consider them as another you. Now remember this phrase, another, say it everybody, another you. Just like you. They have feelings. They don't want suffering. They want happiness. Just like you. When you start really, actually this is very powerful. If you really start thinking them as just like you. You cherish yourself. You love yourself, So in the same manner, they also, their feelings, they're just like you. You got it? They're just like you. Their feelings. When you start suddenly realizing, it's very interesting. It can open a, small door. That when you start thinking of them as just another you, they're like you. Then what happens? It's like almost just as you cherish yourself, you begin to cherish others because the other is like you. Maybe you're not completely cherishing others, but when you realize this particular person is like you, there's something kind of an opening of the heart. Is that clear? That's the how to break the ice. You got it? Start cherishing others. Then gradually, as trained, that's the first step. Then gradually you consider exchange yourself others, like a Tonglen. When someone is really deeply suffering close to you, you really with your heart take on their suffering and pain, Say, I wish I can take all their suffering and pain. May they be free of it. And there's a particular practice called Tonglen, which is in chapter 12. With in-breath, with compassion, you take on the suffering of others with compassion. Then when you breathe out, give them with love, that whatever they require, the love and whatever understanding they require, you give it back to them. So the practice of love and compassion is that giving and receiving should be placed, a practice alternately, this alternation should be placed on the medium of breath. Just as with the meditation, you use the breath as object of meditation. Here you use the breath as a medium of practice of compassion, Sometimes you can also practice this on yourself also. When you're not feeling well, not good with yourself and all that, you can divide yourself into two aspects. One aspect of you that knows the teachings, that really has the compassion and the care. The other aspect, or the B aspect, you can say, is the wounded one, is the misunderstood, is the one that you feel unjustly treated, think of that. And then with the A, take in the B's, all grievances, suffering, because who knows better than yourself anyway? If you do self-Tonglen, it can be very powerful self-healing. I mentioned that also in chapter 12 in the Tibetan Book of Living Life. So with in-breath, you take on all your suffering and pain. And they would say, I understand, because you understand also. And then you give all the love and all the things that it requires, because you know better what you require. You give that to him. And something amazing. It works. And one thing you can do is you can invoke all the Buddhas and all the enlightened masters, compassion masters, to be there as a support, as an inspiration, bring their blessing, and then you practice this way. Is that clear? So that's the next level. And then slowly you realize others are more important than yourself. There are two others when you more and more realize, as simple logic is, Dalai Lama always uses it, there are more others than you, isn't it? So others are more important. Which is also a very powerful way. There are more others than you, so who's more important? Majority. Others. Of course, that doesn't mean at the exclusion of yourself, huh? No. You also need to love yourself. It's very important. As Buddha said, if you look all over the world, some are more worthy of your love than you will not find anyone. Because you're more worthy of your love, is you're the one who's most worthy of your love. Buddha said, I find this very, very inspiring and moving. Sometimes bring me tears also. He said, he who loves himself, or he or she who loves herself, will not harm another. If you really truly know how to love yourself, then you will not harm another. It is when we don't love ourselves, then we begin to harm others. We become negative. And we become jealous of people who have happiness, all that, So very much really gradually. And something amazing is that, one thing, at the basis of all this, is that when you just think of yourself, really, actually, the funny thing is, thinking of yourself, if you just think of yourself, and just thinking of how I can get on with the life, how I can be successful, only of yourself, and become very selfish and self-centered like that, then what happens is, you just get caught up in this claustrophobic self, where you not only end up not being happy, but there's no end to problems, and you shirk responsibility and blame others. It doesn't make you happy. On the other hand, what's amazing is when you start really thinking of others, working for the benefit of others, amazing the benefit is that your own welfare is taken care of as a matter of course. That means by working or helping others, you feel much better. It brings you happiness. So in many ways, actually cherishing yourself is supposed to be the one that's supposed to make you happy, but makes it worse. Whereas, when you really start working for the benefit of others, cherishing others, is source of really, truly cherishing yourself in an enlightened way. That means it's really the best way to make you happy. So we got it all completely wrong. Basically, that's what Lord Jong is trying to tell us. We got the whole thing wrong. That's why samsara is the opposite of nirvana. When you really start working with others and thinking of others, working for it, it's really a source of benefit for yourself and for the world, really brings happiness. So that's the basic principle. I thought I should teach this directly. That's self-cherishing.